joining me on your mats. This is Hatha Flow, all levels. In today's class, it's about self-love. So basically being able to love ourselves, right? So there's nothing better to actually appreciate, right? Be happy, content in our own skin. So yoga helps us, right, to get rid of anxiety, stress, judgment, right? Detaching ourselves from judgment, the thoughts, I'm not good enough, I'm not flexible enough, I'm not strong enough. So I hope you enjoy and your time on your mat, okay? So we're gonna start on our backs. So first, come in, down on your backs. Take a moment to hug your knees in. Rock a little bit from side to side. You can even plant your palms on your knees and start to draw circles. And it's yogi's choice whether you want to move your knees to the same direction or you want to move them in opposite direction. Just basically bringing some awareness, paying attention to your low back right now. And then you're gonna stack your feet as wide as your mat. Bring your knees to touch. Open your arms to cactus. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, let your knees fall to the right. Shift your gaze to the left. You may feel a stretch on that left quad, hip flexor. Option to stack your foot on top of your left leg here. Allow the shoulders to get heavy on the ground. Another big breath in. Slow breath out. Final one, breathe in. And breathe out. Slowly release, come back to center, feet wide, knees touch. And then let your knees fall to the left side, shift your gaze to the right. Try to keep the upper body soft, easy as you continue to expand your breath. And take 3 more rounds here as you start to cultivate that Ujjayi breath, that victorious breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. And you want to breathe through the back of the throat. And that's what creates that ocean sound, breath-like. Last one, friends. And then come back to center. You're going to stack your right ankle on top of your left knee. You may stay here, right? This is a stop number 1. Number 2, draw the knees closer to you. Lace the fingers at the belly of the hamstring. Option to extend your leg and start to work on the little hamstring stretch here. Wake up your feet. Breathe deeply into the hips, into the low back. Final one. And then from here, just slide your right knee on top of the left. Open your feet wide. Some of you may want to just pause here, and that's fine. If you want a little bit more, you can take your hands to the shins or ankles. Flex your feet and think about drawing the shins towards you. So your feet are nice and wide and you're drawing the feet towards the shoulders. So you'll be feeling this in your outer hips and most likely IT band as well, so the outer legs. Big breath in. slow breath out. And slowly release. Windshield wipe your legs. And back to center. Stack your left ankle for that figure 4. Again, stop number 1, number 2. Adding a little bit more, lacing the fingers here. Or even extending your right leg towards the sky. Just make sure you're not bringing the shoulders, lifting the shoulders off the ground or even the sacrum. Keep that tailbone nice and long. Use your breath. Each inhale to create space, each exhale to help you to soften, to relax a little bit more, right? That's the intention when we come to our mats. To peel the layers, right? To clear space in the mind and physical body. And then slowly slide your knee. Open the shins wide. Either grabbing a hold of your feet or ankle for a little stretch here. Good, and then slowly release, plant your feet. You can windshield wipe the legs and start to rock and roll here. The length of your spine, you can move small, big, fast, or slow. And then you're gonna come to all fours. You're gonna move through a few rounds of cat and cow here. So inhale, arch the spine, wrap the shoulders down. Exhale, round, tuck your chin. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat pose. So round the mid and upper back, tuck your chin. Last one. And press back into a child's pose now. So stretch your arm bones in front of you. Just take a moment to pause. Breathe into your back body. And then slowly come to stand on your knees. You're gonna keep your knees about hip width apart. And then extend your right leg out to the side. Your toes can either point forward or slightly out on an angle. See what feels best for your knee. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, take your left hand in front of the leg, can be on your shin or straight down towards the floor. Left arm reaches up and over your ear. So you want to breathe deeply here into the left side. Create a little bit more space. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, take your left hand to the floor or a block if you have one home or books. And reach your arm over your ear. Keep pressing the foot on the ground so the leg is nice and active. Breathing from your outer ankle to your fingertips. Now raise your leg if you can, bend your knee. You're gonna grab a hold of your foot behind your back. So you're adding a little quad stretch and a back bend. A strap or towel can be helpful as well, or you skip this stretch and slowly, mindfully release. Lead with your right hand. Inhale, reach up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. We're gonna switch sides. So extend your left leg out to the side, plant your foot, big breath in. Exhale. Left hand to shin, reach your arm up and over. Relax the shoulders, tone the belly, untuck your chin. Feel that nice side stretch here. And back to center, take a breath in. And then exhale, switch. Take your time as you work on your transitions. Allow the stretch to happen as you find stillness. Stay connected to the breath. Again, option to stay here or to lift. And you're gonna bend your knee, grab a hold of your foot or your ankle. Breathe into that front body. Mindfully release, lead with your left hand. Come back to center, palms touch, hands to the heart. Very nice, friends. All right, we're gonna go right away into a downward dog. Feel free to paddle your feet here. Just shake your head yes and no. Add movement if that's what your body's craving right now. So the beauty of yoga, right, is when we step on our mats, we can make decisions. We choose what works for us at the present moment, right? Yoga is always about the present. So working towards letting go of what already happened and try not to step into the future, right? And that's also about self-love, self-care. Just being content right now, appreciating the present moment and the opportunity to clear space. One more breath here in downward dog. And then slowly walk to the top of your mat. Take as many steps as you need. Inhale, lengthen with a flat back. Press your hands on your shins. Exhale, fold. 2 more times. Inhale, lengthen. Pull your belly in. Slide your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, release. Final one. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, bow. Bend your knees generously. Roll your spine as you pull that belly in. Circle your arms. Inhale. Exhale, pull the energy to the heart center, right? The heart is the space for love. So let's unclutter. Inhale, circle the arms. Lace your fingers behind your back. Take an inhale. Exhale, rinse the shoulders away from your spine. Shake your head yes and no. If lacing the fingers is not working for you today, you can always again use a strap or a towel. Work with what you have, what's available to you. Detach yourself from judgment. Remember that you already have what you need. And release your hands to the floor. Keep your right hand down. You can stay on your fingertips here. Bend your right knee, raise your left arm up. Brighten your fingers. Inhale. Slowly exhale. One more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. Slowly release. Switch sides. Left hand on the floor or a block. Raise your right arm. Last one. And slowly release. Take an inhale. Step back to plank. Hold. Another breath in. As you exhale, lower down. You can bring your knees down first. Take your hands in front of you, wider than the shoulders, like a funnel. Spread your fingers wide, slide your shoulders down, wake up your legs. Continue to engage the belly. Breathe here. Find some freedom in your spine. And slowly release, press back, downward dog. So I highly encourage you to be aware, right? Pay attention to your transitions. Be mindful, move with intention. Remember that each pose has its own breath. Each pose matters. Bend your knees, look forward, make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, exhale. Inhale to rise. Palms touch, hands to the heart center. All right, inhale, reach. Lace the fingers one more time, friends. Breathe in and breathe out, fold. No shame in bending your knees. Bend your knees as much as you need. Try not to build too much tension in the back of the legs, the low back. We're gonna add that twist, but you're gonna keep your bind if you can. Bend your right knee, open your chest to the left. This is a similar pose. Instead, keeping one hand on the floor and one pointing up, we keep the hands behind the back. Come back to center. Inhale. Exhale. Switch. Bend your left knee. Peel the chest open to the right side. And come back to center. Fold and release the hands. Step back to plank. Inhale at the top of your push-up. And then exhale, lower down. Take your hands wide outside your sticky mat to lift your elbows. Breathe in. Peel the chest open. As you exhale, dip your right shoulder. So twist to your left. Inhale. And to the right. Big breath in. And slowly release, downward dog. Find stillness, check in with yourself. Bend your knees, look forward. Make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale to fold Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep your arms. Hands to the heart center. Last one, so moving through a little variation of sun salutation. Big breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands. You know what to do. Move like you. Lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Press up and back. Downward facing dog. Building some heat, right? Activating what we call the tapas, right? The fire within in yoga. The fire helps us to loosen things up and also to purify, right? Release toxins and release, I always say releasing, all the crap that we tend to hold on to. That doesn't really do anything for us. Raise your right leg. Step your right foot forward. Take your left knee to the ground. You're gonna inhale, sweep your arms. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. For those of you with sensitive knees, you can use a little towel or roll the edge of your mat to give you a little extra padding. Now watch here. So my hips are shifting slightly forward. It feels heavy instead of being up here, right? Like too square. Think about shifting forward a little bit more. Good. Open twist to the right. If you can, gaze towards the back hand. Inhale, reach up. Right hand, left wrist, reach up and over. Keep the heart space open. Maybe even lift your gaze a little bit. Come back to center. Frame your foot. Shift your hips back. Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits or runners. Stretch, whatever you want to call it. Keep a soft bend on your knee here as you extend through the leg. You have that line from hip to knee. And notice here how I'm keeping my mid back and upper back nice and long, right? Try to avoid rounding too much. Remember, it's about creating a space in your mind and your physical body, right? Because it's all connected. There's no separation, mind, body, breath. All right, rebend your knee. Step back, downward dog. And braid your left leg high. Step your foot forward. Gently take your right knee to the ground. As you inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, open twist to your left. So the shoulders are over the hips, but the hips are shifting slightly forward. Come back to center. Left hand, right wrist, reach up and over to the left. So a gentle side stretch. Draw the belly in, knit your ribs together, relax your shoulders. Come back to center, inhale. Exhale, frame your foot. We've been here before, so find your runner's stretch. See if you can soften here in this pose. Again, avoid locking your knee. But keep energy moving right through the foot, up into the leg. Inhale, rebend your knees, step back to plank. As you exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Press up and back, downward facing dog. Find stillness in your resting pose. This is your opportunity to reconnect to breath, to intention, to observe. Appreciate the peace in the pause. Raise your right leg, step your right foot forward. Your knee down to the floor once again. All right, breathe in. Reach your arms up, breathe out, open twist. If you can, flip your left palm and reach up and back. Come back to center, inhale. As you exhale, reach up and over to the left. So now your right fingertips reach down towards the floor or a block, and that left arm over. Come back center, half splits. Remember, try to remind yourself that every time you revisit a pose, you want to try to find something new, to find, right, a little bit more sensation, or maybe working towards softening a little bit more. It doesn't have to always be like we're trying to go deeper and pushing yourself. but really to build awareness, see where your attention goes. Notice your reactivity to the pose, right? Like, is your mind trying to take over? Like, I don't like this, or I'm not flexible enough, you know? Try not to focus on perhaps what might be a little bit negative. Instead, you know, embrace the challenge. Use it for transformation. Inhale, rebend your knee. Keep that same inhale. Press, exhale, press back. Downward dog. Keep those sits bones nice and high. And inhale, raise your left leg. Step your foot forward. Right knee down. Raise your arms. Exhale, open twist to your left. Stay here or flip your right palm. Reach up and back. Come back to center. Inhale. Exhale. Now either grab your wrist again or take this variation where the fingertip reaches towards the floor. It may or may not touch. And come back to center. Frame your foot, slide your hips back as you fold over your left leg. Breathe through sensations. Notice where you can soften a bit more. Yoga is about being able to quiet the chatter, right, in our minds. So we're able to listen. And then inhale, rebend your knee, step back plank. Move like you. Whether you choose to flow or skip, choose a heart opener of your choice. Maybe you even pause here for an extra breath. Remember, life is already busy, crazy at times. So when you come to your mat, really take advantage, right, of the opportunity to pause, to observe, to slow down. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, right? It's still challenging, but really appreciating that sweetness of the present moment. Doing things with awareness, intention. You're going to raise your right leg to the sky, step your right foot forward. Now plant your left heel about 45-degree angle. Keep your hips squared and then rise. Now take your hands to your hips, wrap your right hip back, left hip forward. You're pulling your belly in, your tailbone is reaching down. Warrior one. Lots of energy through the feet, right? So pressing your feet here so you engage through the legs. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, lace the fingers behind your back. Take another breath in. Exhale, humble warrior. So you're folding over your right leg. Your right hip still wraps back towards that left heel. Your knuckles come away from your spine. Release your hands towards the top left corner. and release your chest towards the floor. So it's like your downward dog with your arms and your spine, but you're still keeping the feet the same way. If this is too much, your back knee can come to the floor. Breathe into the hip. And then walk your hands towards the midline. Step back to downward dog. Breathe here in and in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Again, inhale. Exhale. Take your left leg high. Step your foot forward. Right heel plants down. As you take your next inhale, rise right into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Arrive at your pose using alignment, right, to create stability so we can find stillness. Again, quiet the mind. Allow the breath to set the rhythm. Inhale, look up and lengthen. Exhale, lace the fingers behind your back. Breathe in. As you breathe out, fold. Maybe shake your head, yes and no. Open and close your mouth. Don't be afraid to bend your left knee here. Sensation is part of the process. Discomfort is part of the process. It's also being able to love the parts of ourselves that we don't like so much, right? Release your hands to the floor. Walk your hands towards that top right corner. Stay committed, stay present. Try not to escape the pose. And then walk the hands towards the midline. Step back to your plank. You know what to do. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, find downward dog. You're going to move through a similar sequence. We're just going to add a little bit more here. So raise your right leg, step your right foot forward. Inhale, rise, warrior 1. Exhale, open twist to the right. Flip your left palm, reach up and back. So this is all similar here. We were doing this on the ground. Come back to center. Lace the fingers. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Go a little deeper. Keep that back leg nice and strong. Release your hands to the floor. You're going to extend, straighten that front leg. Feel free to use blocks here or books if you need a little bit more space. Otherwise, the palms or fingertips will touch the floor here. You have a soft bend on that right knee. Allow the torso to drape over your front leg here. A couple more breaths. From here, we're going to go into standing split. So transfer the weight forward into that right foot and raise your left leg. The leg doesn't have to be very high, but try to straighten the leg. Press through your right foot. Release any tension from the shoulders, from your face, your jaw. Curtsy. Cross your left leg behind. Stay on the ball of your foot. Raise your right arm. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Breathe in and breathe out, fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, clench your hands. Move through a flow, or just maybe hold a little plank, or go straight into downward dog or child's pose. Bridge your left leg high. Step your foot forward. Right heel comes down. Inhale, rise. Warrior one. Exhale, open, twist. Warrior two. Flip your palm, reach up and back. Back to center, inhale. Exhale, lace the fingers. Fold, humble warrior. Hands down to the floor. Straighten your front leg, coming into that pyramid pose. Adjust your stance if you need. Try to keep that back heel grounded. For this variation, you can always, switch things up. You can do also with the heel off the ground. But for this one, just pressing all four corners of your feet, again, creating a stability here. Use each inhale to lengthen, each exhale to soften into the pose. One more breath here. And then find your standing splits. Either gaze towards your knee or your ankle. Wake up your toes. Press through that foot. Engage your standing leg. One more breath. Curtsy. And raise your left arm. Add a twist here. And inhale, rise, mountain pose. Pull the energy to the heart center. All right, very nice. We're gonna take a little back bend here. So we're talking about self-love, right? Accepting ourselves, loving ourselves, getting rid of the negative, right, self-talk. And the heart is the place where we carry our love, but we also carry, grief and sadness and, anything that feels heavy. So, we've been creating a space in the shoulders, the upper back, so now we're gonna add a little bit more and, really open things up. So you're gonna sit on your heels, or you can slide a little block here under the sits bones. So we're gonna put less pressure on your ankles and on your feet. And we're gonna work with a half camel. So take your hands behind you so the fingers point towards your feet. Take an inhale. Exhale, just lift your chest here. So you're squeezing the shoulder blades behind your back. If this is too much, on your feet, on your knees, you can always stand on your knees and just do a supported camel. And come back to center. little deeper now. So the hands are gonna come behind your back. Press your feet on the ground, or you can tuck your toes. Take an inhale, hide your elbows behind your back. Exhale, lift your gaze and breathe. Maybe the hands walk behind the legs. And come back to center. Sit on your heels for a moment. Just pause, observe. Neutralize the spine. Close your eyes. You can go into child's pose if you wish. And then find a seated position. So we're gonna release that low back a little bit. So you're gonna extend your right leg in front of you, bend your left knee, take an inhale. Exhale, fold over your leg. Take 3 breaths here. Use each inhale to lengthen the spine, each exhale to help you fold a little more. And slowly come back up. Now we're just gonna wrap the right leg around. Hug your heel a little bit closer. If that bottom knee is bugging you, just extend your leg. Now take your left elbow outside your leg. Right hand behind your back. Take a nice twist here. Sit tall. Notice where you might be feeling stuck, right? Where you feel that resistance. It could be your mid-back, your upper back. And slowly release. Take a little counter twist here. And let's switch sides. So extend your left leg, bend your right knee. Sit tall. Inhale, reach. Heart lead the way, fold. Wake up your toes, soften the shoulders. And then slowly release. Wrap your left leg around. Sit nice and tall. Make sure both sits bones are pressing on the ground. And then take your left hand behind your back. Raise your right arm. Hook outside your elbow. And twist. Shift your gaze back. Stay active through your twist. And gently release, take a counter twist here. And then bring your legs to a modified butterfly pose. So taking your feet away from you a little bit, more like a diamond shape with your legs. You're gonna inhale deeply, and then exhale, just round your spine and fold. Give yourself permission to just relax here. Maybe you even take a little block on top of your foot and rest your forehead. may stay here a little longer, or you can slowly walk your hands back. You're gonna come down to your backs now. Give yourself a nice squeeze, hug your knees in. Finding your way into your Shavasana, your final relaxation. Remember, this is the most important pose. All your efforts, your dedication, leading you up to the moment of stillness, of receiving, allowing the body to absorb all the benefits of each posture. And as always, thank yourself for showing up, right? For doing the work, which is not always easy or pleasant, but it makes a difference. So continue to show up for yourself, cultivating self-love. Thank you so much for spending some time with me on your mats. May you have peace, may you be happy, may you be free. Namaste.